So if you remember my self-driving robot, well, if you don't, I'm talking about this guy. In this video, I'm going to give you the final code and I'm going to show you the full build from start to finish. Let's get into it. So this is the final version so far. And let me go over the parts really quick. So on top here, we have the distance sensor. And here is the Arduino underneath. This is the servo that turns the distance sensor so it can check multiple directions. Now, under the Arduino here, I have my custom PCB. Once again, thanks to PCBWay for providing the PCB for free. This is not a sponsored video. I'm not being paid or anything. They did give me the PCB for free. Thanks again for that. Now, the reason we have two batteries here, you always want a separate power for the Arduino versus the DC motor and the servos. So generally speaking, you don't want to connect the brain of the robot to the same power supply as the motors. As the motors turns on, they draw too much current that could impact the Arduino in this case. Now, it might not apply here, but it's a good practice. So we have, if we flip this over, we have here the uh, driving servo or the turning servo. So that's how it changes direction. And yeah, it's a simplified kind of turning mechanism. Now, here in the back, we have the, oops, it's already falling apart. Don't mind me here. Now, in the back here, we have the DC motor, and that is connected to my custom PCB. This is how it drives the direction, like forward and backward. Everything is kind of, I used screws here. That way I can take it apart because I'm planning to kind of expand this in the future and add more to it. So if you follow me here in the future, I'll have definitely more different robots and maybe expand this one. Now, so far, this is working. I will give you the code and everything and show you the full build process. And then in the future, definitely we'll add more to it. I try to simplify the code as much as possible and also kind of make it clear. So I will leave a link to that in the description. Now, for the rest of this video, I'll show you some footage kind of during the build process and how this finally works. So please enjoy. Again, this is the adaptive cruise control feature that I just talked about. But let me turn it on, have my hand here. You see it's going to be um, standing, waiting for my hand to be removed. And then if I remove my hand, it'll drive. Now, if I put my hand again, it'll stop. So it measures the distance in front of it, and it's kind of waiting for a clearance to drive ahead. You can see if I remove my hand, it'll move forward. So if I move my hand further, then it'll move forward. If I put my hand, it'll stop. So let me kind of back this up and kind of show you a little bit better. So you can see here, and if I can get my hand in the camera, see here, if I remove my hand, it'll drive. Put my hand, it'll stop. So I'm going to turn it on, and you can see it's going to go straight until it runs into the wall, and that's when it's going to change direction. Let me show you this. So I'm going to turn this on. You can see it's avoiding the walls, but sometimes it gets stuck on an angle like this. So you see it's the distance sensor. You can see now it's not getting stuck anymore, and eventually it still sees the walls and it can still get away from them. It used to get stuck, especially in an angle. Now it can still see the walls and navigate through them without having me to get it unstuck. So thank you so much for the suggestion. That actually worked just fine.